The Continuing Adventures of the Little Mermaid, The Discovery of Weeki Wachee. By Michael P. Manus. A new adventure inspired by Hans Christian Andersen. Very 90s color scheme here. It's a legend old as can be, told by men who sailed the sea, of a land of myrrh in the ocean blue, and their people, which were few. Of one little mermaid they tell a tale, with hair of gold and skin so pale, an innocent heart and large round eyes, wide open and blue as the sky. She was just 12 years old, as the story goes, with a beautiful tail, but no legs and toes. The mermaid was just swimming around, playing hide and seek, trying not to be found, behind a rock with Chester, her turtle friend, not knowing that her kingdom was near the end, when a school of fish came swimming near, warning of a storm about to appear. The fish said that they got the word from their friend in the sky, a tiny white bird. The bird said the warning came from on high, from the angry God who ruled the sky. He was angry at the people of the land, from the high mountains to the pure white sand. Those in the valleys and the forests so green, he was going to wash the world clean. The bird told the fish, who in turn told the girl, of a day in the future when the oceans would whirl, when the sky would turn black and the winds would blow, then the lightning would strike at the earth below. When rains would flood the canyons deep, it would come in the night when the people sleep. The oceans too would rattle and shake, explode with fire, they would feel the earthquake. The little mermaid was frightened, it's true. They swam home thinking what to do. The fish said they had a few days before the oceans would shake and create big waves. On the way home, she thought of the natural spring, a safe place where the grown-ups did sing, a place hidden from the great storm's sight, where she and her people would be all right. This mermaid's mission was crystal clear, and the reason quite sincere, to tell her father what she heard from the fish, who heard it from the little white bird. There's the angry God. That the God of the sky was about to destroy the people of the earth, even little girls and boys. All the animals, small and great, were about to face a horrible fate. Because apparently God is an asshole. Let's see. Sorry, I've got a baby in my lap. They went straight to her father in the great hall, down a golden path. Then to her father she called, "We have to get out. Leave this peaceful place. We can't take our time. We must make haste." She took a deep breath. She told all the scary things about to befall. She described the angry God high above and how he was about to wipe out the people she loved. Her father listened. He was amazed. Was he to believe his little girl's phrase? Could he understand his daughter's fears when she fell to the floor crying oceans of tears? His counsel smiled, then laughed with glee as the mermaid begged, "Please." Pointing to the door, her dad said goodbye. They didn't believe about the God in the sky. The little mermaid left with her head bowed down, for her dad thought she was a clown. When she knew she must find that natural spring, that stories told and the grown-ups did sing. She stiffened her lip and stuck out her chin, then headed for home with a swish of her fin. With Chester, her turtle, at her side, Chester knew she didn't lie. She went home to pick up her things, her treasures, her grandmother's ring. Then she and Chester were off in a blur to find the natural spring to save the people of Myrrh. She played in her mind the stories and songs. She knew that the words would lead her along. She passed Starfish Rock and the great coral reef, down a cliff, down so deep. It was at that moment Chester was alarmed, for he had sensed them great harm. It was sharks, and sharks are in quotations for some reason. No idea why. A school of great white. They must be careful or be shark food that night. Chester spotted a cave back on the right. He thought they needed to get out of sight. Their teeth chattered. They prayed for help as they ducked their heads and swam through the kelp. What just happened was watched through a mist by a dark, shadowy figure who seems to exist on panic and fear and trembling fright, even a little child's fear of the dark of the night. Her mean eyes all alone in the haze, red and glowing, a magical gaze. The sea witch's laughter echoed all around, a chilling, wicked, scary sound. As her witchy legs moved her about, to her slaves she began to shout, "What can I do to this little mermaid to help the sharks she's trying to evade?" It began with a grin, then changed to a smile. The witch giggled to herself a while. With a flick of her finger a light appeared. She knew how to add to the mermaid's fear. Paused over some oysters ripe with pearls, just enough to bewitch the little mer-girl. Chester went ahead, he was a great scout. He knew they'd succeed, he had no doubt. The mermaid let temptation take the lead, for temptation, you know, is powered by greed. She reached her hand into the oyster bed, one grabbed her finger. She bled. The pearl of wisdom was not worth the cut, or the blood that flowed when the oyster shut. But the scent of blood flowed downstream, where the sharks waited, trying not to be seen. Through the sea drifted her fear. The great white sensed them near. They stalked their prey with cunning and style, following the scent of the blood of the child. Closer and closer the sharks came to be. They circled around as if to tease. They toyed and played with the meals they craved, as the mermaid and Chester slipped into a cave. Wait, I thought they were already in a cave. The sharks couldn't believe they lost their prize. Their dinner vanished before their eyes. But the mermaid and Chester were safe in the dark. Breathing a sigh of relief, they escaped the sharks. The witch saw what happened. She stomped off in a rage, cleared the mist, then she grabbed the cage. She was mad, around she whirled, shouting, "Someday I'll get that little mer-girl." In the dark they spotted a glint of light. The little mermaid couldn't believe her sight. They swam to it, their hearts filled with hope, down a glimmering, shimmering, rocky slope. A cavern lit by the light of the sun, they thought they saw an illusion. She and Chester knew this was the place. Now they could go home heroes, not in disgrace. Oh no! I know, these rhymes are terrible. I feel like crying too, little bub. Below in the water, they played in the sun. They relaxed. They began to have fun. For a moment, their mission was delayed. Because of the excitement, they strayed. The little mermaid swam to the surface to look around at the lush green garden they found. From a distance, with her eyes she explored paradise as described by mer folklore. In the clear blue pool all around she splashed. Then up to the surface Chester came in a flash. He reminded her that they only had a few days and the people of Mer they needed to save. The shock made her eyes open wide. To this pool her people she will guide. She and Chester went down to the shadows, up the rocky slope into where the oceans flow. out of the cave so dark, with no sight of the great white sharks. She and Chester were out of breath, going back to Myrrh to save their people from death. Yeah, I know. I know, buddy. Up, up, up the cliff so steep, then breezed past the great coral reef. On their right went Starfish Rock. It was a race against time, against the clock. It was then the ground did shake, the first signals of an earthquake. The little mermaid knew her task at hand, to convince her dad's council of the new land. She went back to the hall with the council inside, filled with confidence, filled with pride. She explained again about their fate, then the great hall did shake. Into the crowd columns did fall, and shatter on the floor pieces of wall. The council proclaimed to the people of Myrrh to follow this mermaid on her spring tour. The floor swayed left and right. The Myrrh people left, screaming in fright. They went to collect what they owned. They went to say goodbye to their home. By then the ground shook, then opened up wide. The city was split and tumbled inside. The people of Myrrh followed their lead, past Starfish Rock and the great coral reef. Across the rocks and down the cliff to the place in the sand where the sea shifts, under the green grass into the cave, the people followed the Myrrh girl so brave. They followed the gleaming beam of light down a shimmering slope where they hoped to unite, into the cavern lit by the sun where they would establish the new Myrrh nation. Weeki Wachee they named their new home, meaning shining water of sunlit chrome, saved from the storm on the land above, saved by the little mermaid's love. And that is the story. The back says, Weeki Wachee is a real place located just north of Tampa, Florida. It is a natural spring theater hidden by a lush green garden of trees. The people of Florida have named Weeki Wachee the City of Mermaids.